it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money, money, money. That's all he talks
There's
about.
nothing wrong with being wealthy.
I know he
Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, but not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth.
Money is the root to all.
No, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. If you don't like money so much, why don't you get up and go to work? Yes, I do think about all the things and one thing you have to study it. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my family. Money's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez. Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with the main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, where I do my best to bring practical, proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a pleasure. I count it a blessing to be coming to you guys this morning live and direct from the Mikey Learns About Business Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, I'm making an effort. I've been coaching this young man in business for just over a year now. And, you know, he said he already had a business going. He's like, you know, I want to be great at business. I want to be a millionaire before I turn 18. So he said, okay, let's work on that. So he built his business. He went from 1 vending machine to 5. And then he says, you know what? I want to write a book to teach kids about starting a business. I said, that's cool. Whatever you want to do, you can do it, man. Because I was always say the worst thing you can do is set expectations too low for a child. So he said, okay, I want to write a book. So we helped him write a book, got him with an illustrator, got him with a writing coach, and got his book written. And now guess what he says? Coach, I want to be a best-selling author. I said, okay, small problem for a giant. Let's get it. So what I'm doing is I'm promoting the book, and I want you guys to be prepared to go out and get the book next Saturday. Next Saturday, I want everybody, not tomorrow, next Saturday, I want everybody to be prepared to go in and download the Kindle book for $1.99, and we're trying to get 1,000 people to do that on the same day and make my man a best-selling author, man. How about that? I want kids to know that when you set your sights high, you set good dreams and good goals, you can reach them. So that's the plan, and that's the campaign that we have. So you'll hear a lot from me about this book throughout the week. And then if you haven't already ordered the book, just go order the paperback book too from Amazon. But on that day, we want everybody to go in and really at least grab the ebook for $1.99 and see if we can't make the young man a best-selling author, right? So today, as we wrap up Black Literature Week, man, I don't know about you guys, but I learned so much this week from authors. They had some tremendous stories. Miss Yvette was amazing, talking about the LLCs and the tax code and how to use that to build wealth. We had LaWanda on, Allison Crackland. She was talking about her amazing journey through life. We also had Sharon Vick on, and his son actually popped on and said some amazing things about what they did and journeying through divorce and how it affects kids. You know, and then we also had, of course, author Brandy Gates come on, talk about her experience, military and now police officer, and trauma and how that shaped who she is. And then, of course, Lady Ray J also kicked us off with her background story. But today, we have two powerful brothers who are going to talk to you about success and what it takes to overcome and really take yourself to the next level. And the first guy that I'm going to bring out is the author of this little gem, Success, How to Obtain It, How to Enjoy It, and How to Keep It. Very, very powerful young man. Gives me a great deal of honor and it's a pleasure to be able to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Miguel Thornton. So let's see. There we go. Now we're set. Good morning, brother. How are you doing, Miguel? Down in the Big Easy, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself, Cortez?
Man, everything is going all right, man. Everything is going all right. So, for those who don't know you, man, tell us a little bit about who you are and what made you want to pin this gem on success, right?
Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Miguel Thornton, and I am, of course, an author of this book, Success: How to Enjoy It, How to Obtain It, How to Enjoy It, How to Keep It. But I'm also an activist. I'm also a humanitarian. I'm also an entrepreneur as well. That's who I am right now. But if we're going to talk about the book, we have to go back a little bit and discuss who I was. When I actually penned the book, I was 27 years old. I was in prison, and I was going through a rough time in my life. Actually, I was on my way out of prison. So I had gone through that experience, having failed with life. Prison, as many people know, is you're the considered the outcast in society. And so, having encountered many men, while I was in prison, I received my calling to serve people. And what that did for me.
1 second, Miguel. They're saying speak up a little bit. They're having a trouble hearing you.
Okay, sure. One thing about it for me, Cortez, I wanted to develop a tool for people to use. Basically, man, to bounce back, speak back in life. I wanted to develop something that people could take and use as a roadmap, if you will, a guide that will point them in the right direction in life, man. And what I did was I developed this book, studying universal truth that has helped people along the way. And what I did was I studied 13 very successful people, be it in the field of entertainment or education or politics or real estate. I studied these people. And what I found was that all of these 13 people used some principles, universal truth, in order to advance. And so that's what I'm on a mission of now, man. Just inspiring people, not motivating, but inspiring people.
Right.
To change for success.
Yeah, and that's big, man. And I think a work like this is so very needed, because I think one of the first things that happens to people who go through that experience and they get out and they find themselves with really, we talk about Black people in general as being second-class citizens, but to have that kind of record and then you come out, you really see that, man, the world turns its back on people, especially Black people who've stumbled and lost their way and trying to pick themselves back up. So talk about the experience of you just trying to get yourself back into mainstream society, job, working, and just trying to pick yourself back up, knowing that, hey, I made a mistake. I paid for that mistake. Now I'm trying to, move from that mistake, and how sometimes society will just dangle that thing over your head and really keep you down because of it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, it wasn't easy, there were some things that I had to do myself, to equip myself, for success, to ensure that, bouncing back would be, all the more easier for me. I understand that being Black in America, we have to go through many things, much scrutiny. We're encountered with racism, systematic racism, on a daily. And so if you're not ready, if you're not equipped to encounter and offset some of the things that are going to be thrown your way, then you're going to get eaten alive. And so again, what I wanted to do while I was away, on my way back into society was put together first and foremost a manual for myself.
Right.
That I would have the necessary tools to equip myself, come out, and to be successful. And so that's what I did. You know, when I made my transition home, and again, we were talking about some years ago. I came home at 27. I'll be 37 now, and so I've gone through some real life situations, to say the least. But it's important to note, man, that you have to have the right mindset. You know, you have to have a positive mental attitude, and I discussed that in the book. You have to understand that in order for you to be successful, sometimes you got to get knocked down.
Yeah.
You have to get knocked down in order to really appreciate getting anywhere in life. You know, you can't negate the process. You can't negate the rough patches in life. And that was the first chapter that I talked about in the book, the importance of failure. The importance of failure. We have to embrace failure. To realize that, you know, if you fail, don't stay there. Shake it off. Get up and continue to move forward in life.
Exactly. And most people don't realize that failure is part of the success equation, right? You try something, you fail, you adjust, and you try again. And you keep working that formula until you ultimately have the success that you want to have. So that's powerful. So I want to read a couple of your excerpts. You did in this one. These are the two stuck out to me because these things. When you talk about the universal truths and the universal principles, these are some that in my study of people who are successful, these things stand out in people. Number one is optimism. It says our 14, talking about the 14 people that you studied, knew that if they were going to beat the odds, whatever they might have been at the time, they were going to have to remain steadfast in regards to their anticipations of the best possible results that they and those around them could and would achieve. That's optimism. Then the one on dedication. In order for someone to dedicate, they must be willing to set apart something for a specific purpose. Whether that something be time, energy, effort, etc., it should be known to all that action is required, but the mind itself must be given over to this concept. So talk a little bit about you're transitioning on your way out. I know you've heard and seen people, prison that revolving doors, like people get out and they come back. So you yourself had to be very optimistic to say, hey, once I leave this place, I'm never coming back. And then talk about the dedication that you had to have to keep moving forward in a positive direction. Because I'm sure it's always tempting, because even me, from someone who is 20 years removed from the streets, it's still today, things get hard. You're like, man, I know where I can go get some money at, right? So talk about the optimism that you had to have as you were exiting, and then the dedication that you had to have to your positive self now to keep you on that path.
Yeah, sir. Well, we definitely know that that racism, which is white supremacy, the purpose of it is to keep us as a permanent underclass, or to turn us into a permanent underclass. And so, again, making that transition, I had to make it a point to be optimistic. Certainly, prison is a revolving door. The recidivism rate is through the roof. I've seen several hundred men leave, go home for a little while, and then come back. During my entire prison stay, I was gone for 8 years or so. So I've seen, time and time again. The dedication, you have to be dedicated. You have to be absolutely committed to your goal, to the process. You have to be committed to the process. Here in New Orleans, I'm the vice president of a nonprofit organization called the Dr. K Movement, and we from time to time we have visits in schools. We have a program called the Trinity Project, in which we we deal with young people on a triune level, spirit, mind, body. We tell these young people, their parents, and those who are around them, that they have to adhere to certain components in their life in order to be successful young men in society. And so we have to be dedicated. Part of that dedication, man, is being optimistic enough to know that, listen, I have what it takes to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have what it takes to succeed? Because of the universal principles that are available to everybody. Mm-hmm. What I talk about with these 13, 14 people who succeeded in the book, mm-hmm. is that there's nothing that separates them when we discuss the principles. When you discuss principles and lock that in, like really mm-hmm. get principles embedded in your mind and your spirit, you can begin to succeed, man, at whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish. But you have to be committed. You have to be dedicated to the process.
Right. And I think it is the process. I think, like you spoke on a little bit earlier, people are trying to skip the hardships, right? Yeah. And it's the hardships that prepare you for and make the next hardship easy, because your life is a roller coaster, man. You're gonna have ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But if you tiptoe through the tulips and you keep skipping hardships, there's going to be a hardship that you're not going to be able to skip. And then because you skipped all the first 6, 7, 8 of them, you're not going to be prepared to deal with the ninth, right? So I liken it to the game Mario Brothers. That's when I was younger. That was a game that we all played in. And Mario Brothers, they have something called a warp. That means you can skip from board 1 to board 4, right? Yeah. But because you skip boards 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4, you skip to board 5, you didn't encounter some of the enemies that you would normally have to encounter. So now all of a sudden you get to board 5 and you're dealing with some stuff that you don't know how to deal with because you skipped through some of the hardships, man. So you can't skip through the hardships. So tell us a little bit more about the Dr. K Foundation. I know you said you guys are in the schools and you're talking to young people about mind, body, and spirit, and how did that organization come to be? And if somebody wanted to be a part of it in the New Orleans area, or is it a national organization that they can connect with you guys?
Absolutely. Well, our organization was founded in 2012 by Mr. Anthony Tyrone Schroeder, out of the St. Rose area. That's in St. Charles Parish. It's one of the suburbs of New Orleans area. Mm-hmm. And what it was, we founded the organization out of need, out of necessity. We wanted to reach young people first and mm-hmm. foremost. We also wanted to reach the lives of men and women who were returning home, making that transition from prison to the outside world. And we wanted to train them and teach them first and foremost about their rights as people. Right. Many times men don't know, women don't know, and don't understand that they do have a right here still in America, even after you've gone through that stigma of incarceration. And so the organization was built and based out of need, out of necessity. I have my, let's see here. If someone wanted to reach us, matter of fact, I'll hold this card up if you can see it, but I'll also give the information and speak the information. You can call me first and foremost at 504-205-7542. You can check out our website at drkmovement.org. That's Dr. K, DRK, movement.org. Or you can go to You Must Learn, that's the letter U, MUSTLEARN.com, and you can check out the website there as well. We have a clothing line with the Dr. K movement called Dr. K. the K stands for knowledge. K stands for knowledge.
Okay.
But we have some great apparel, for people to check out. Go to that website and check us out. We're doing a lot of great things here in the greater New Orleans area, and we're about to expand.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Because like you said, you touched on something, and I think we all, not just those who are coming out of prison and trying to transition to life, but I think it would serve us all to know from state to state what the rights of our loved ones are, because we know for first and foremost that some of their rights were violated in order for them to be in those positions and to serve the amount of time that they're serving for menial crimes, because we know the school to prison pipeline is real. We know that the maximum sentencing for crimes committed by blacks versus crime committed by white is heinous, the 3 strikes and what the Clintons did and all of that stuff. So I think what you guys are doing with that piece is critically important, not just to help people say, hey, you need to be successful, so you need to change your mindset, but you also need to know that if your rights are being violated, you have some courses of action to take. Because I know a lot of times employers will hang that over your head. You can't work here because you're a felon or whatever, but you got rights. And talk a little bit about the rights that most people don't realize they have when they get back to the streets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most people don't understand that they do have rights. Most people don't understand that when you are released from prison, you still can vote in certain states. And so you need to understand the power that you have in the political process. That is very, very critical. And right now we're very active in the political process here in the greater New Orleans area. Here's the reason why it's so important that you are very involved in what's going on locally, what affects you locally, or what's going on in the courtroom, in the upper rung of that structure and that system. It affects us all. It affects us all. And the more we try to attack, and I don't want to use the word attack. We have to offset injustice.
Yeah.
We have to offset justice, and in order for us to truly offset injustice, we have to bring all of our issues to the place where the injustice happens. Here in our neck of the woods, we like to go to the courthouse steps. And that's where we get our action. That's where we get our voices heard. But we have to continue to do this all over the nation, not just in New Orleans, not just in Baton Rouge, not just in Ferguson, not just in every city, USA.
Yeah, everywhere.
We have to do this on a collective front together, bringing all of our issues to the table. Organizations have to link up, and that's what we're doing. That's what the Dr. K movement is doing. We've also come under the umbrella as well with Fathers Advocacy. We have a nationwide reach. We're in the streets. We are a grassroots organization, and we are about change. We want to see people's lives change. We're dying in the streets, man, and we have to do everything that we can possible to ensure that our people live quality lives. Again, that's why I wrote this book. That's why I put this work out, so that people could have a quality life on every level, because you have what it takes to succeed in life. And certainly I don't want to get too far off with the book, but the movement, man, is very important. It's very critical. This book is part of my the movement.
You talk about fighting the injustice and where that's taking place. And I don't think many of us realize that we all can play a part in that, because I don't know who made this quote famous, but it says, in order for evil to prevail, all it takes is for good men to do nothing, right? And too many good men and women are doing nothing, because in my little suburban area, in my little quaint position and my elevation in society, those things don't necessarily affect me. And you're wrong, because until all of us are free, none of us are free. And we're all a stone's throw away from being jacked up and being placed in prison on some trumped up charges or any of that kind of stuff, man. So you also said that you're with a father advocacy group, and that's something that I would personally like to get involved with myself, because I know a lot of good brothers who want to be fathers to their children and are struggling to do so, either because they don't have the mental capacity or the emotional stability to do so, because they lack certain characteristics that they didn't learn coming up, so they have to kind of be trained to be dads. But also some of the things that we've been put one against the other from, as far as man and woman, and a lot of strife going on in that area. So how are you guys dealing with some of that stuff as a father advocacy group to kind of help blend the ties between man and woman, but also help build the character of those men so that they can be strong fathers?
One thing that we do mentor our children, but we also develop relationships with parents, with fathers, with mothers. Sometimes we have to be that bridge. Oftentimes we have to go to family court and sit and, again, talking about the injustice that we see. Just earlier this month, man, we were in, we had to go to family court and, just watch one brother, and I won't go into the depths of his case, but basically this brother was trying to save his child's life out of a very dangerous situation, very dangerous environment. And because he didn't have proper representation in the courtroom, and all the facts were in his favor. All of the facts said that this man needs to receive what he's asking for, but because he did not have proper representation, he didn't have an attorney, the courts stood on their judgment to not grant full custody as he was trying to so again, man, we have to bring all of our issues at the same time,
right?
In order to really spark change, man. We have to.
And this is going to lead me segueing my way into one of my favorite topics, just because I talk about on the show all the time, man. When you have to go to war, somebody has to finance that war, right? So I know that you're a full-time entrepreneur amongst the many other hats that you wear. So talk about from the perspective of someone getting out of prison and really positioning themselves to feel good about themselves, positioning themselves to really take their life to another level. Talk about how entrepreneurship could be that missing link, if you will, to help those people, because I know psychologically that has to mess with you. You get out, you go and you put in 500 applications and nobody wants to hire you, right? So talk about entrepreneurship as a potential missing link, not only for a financial standpoint, but as being a business owner, you're making things happen in your own world and you're controlling your own destiny. That makes you feel good too. You walk with your head up high and your chest poked out. That confidence alone causes people to respond to you differently. So talk about entrepreneurship and how that could be added into some of these curriculums who are helping people transition back into the world.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man, I believe that it's critical. I believe that every black man, every black woman should own a business, even if they're not running it. I believe that they should own a business, whether it's 50%, 15%, whatever. Every black person should own a stock in something. Entrepreneurship, I believe, is essential, especially coming from that certain walk of life, coming from prison, being incarcerated and having to transition to the outside world. Dealing with that stigma, man, I tell you what, it can be quite devastating on the psyche, It can be, crushing to have to go through interview upon interview upon interview upon interview, filling out application upon application, only to get shot down constantly. Especially when you meet the criteria, you fit the bill, you're qualified. And so what I say to that, create your own opportunity. I tell people all the time, every day, that it's not a job that you need, it is an income. Now, some people do need a job, because some people have to be told what to do. They're not there yet. They don't understand that you have to have hustle, that you have to have get up and go, that you have to have drive if you want to also achieve, obtain, keep success. You have to have that, point blank, period. But for those people who do have that, they become entrepreneurs. Flat out. That's needed. That's essential, I believe. It's essential. It's an essential requirement in the 21st century.
Yeah, definitely, man. And not, especially for our men, because whether we like to admit it or not, and I try to, my personality says I don't really go super radical with the fight and the fronts that we're facing. But let's be clear. If you are a strong Black man, you are feared in this country, in this world. So on your job, you're treated and you're subjugated a certain way because of your strength. So in order for that strength to be used to propel you forward, one of the only places for that to take place is through entrepreneurship. Because now I'm in a competitive market. I'm in a competitive world. When you're in business, business is war. So now the warrior in you can really thrive the way that it should. And there's no greater feeling than to go out and produce something with your mind, produce something with your own hands, to produce something with your own efforts that's going to feed your family. It's similar to if we were in the jungle and I had to go kill something with a spear. Right? When you're an entrepreneur and you go and you produce every day to feed your family, there's nothing like the confidence that will bring you. So tell everybody, man, where they can grab a copy of the book, and let's shout out the links to the website. I'm gonna have to go grab me some of that apparel, man, from the Dr. K movement. So definitely let everybody know where they can find that.
Okay, well, again, you can go to youmustlearn.com. To purchase shirts from us, and we have some really cool designs, man. You want to check that out. You want to get laced with your Dr. K gear. Also, go to drkmovement.org in order to see what we're doing. By all means, check out our Facebook. To just stay abreast on what we do. Our Father's Advocacy page as well. You want to go there. You want to check out. We got tons of knowledge, tons of information. Check that page out. Brothers and Bikes. I didn't say it. I didn't mention it, but I did wear my T-shirt. We're about to revamp our company, man. We're about to roll some new things out for the summer. So go to brothersandbikes.com. That's BRELLAZAND bikes.com. Brothers and Bikes is the premier bicycle rental company in the city of New Orleans. We rent bicycles. We also offer tours in the city on bicycle, via bicycle. And so we're one of the few Black-owned businesses. We're also one of the few local-owned companies, bicycle rental companies in the city of New Orleans. So please support us when y'all in town. Essence is about to roll around. Essence Festival.
Exactly.
For those of you who are at Essence Festival, give us a holler. We'll be ready.
And let me say this real quick as you're promoting that, because you talk about creating opportunities for yourself. Somebody somewhere watching is in a tourist city right now, and they're trying to figure out how to make. Man, if you don't understand that if you're in a tourist city like New Orleans, and $1 billion a year flows through that city, through the French Quarters and through some of those tourist attractions, man, Mardi Gras alone. So if you're trying to figure out how to create opportunities for yourself, and you're in one of these cities where tourism is big, that's just an opportunity right there that you can get involved in that industry, man. Get you a small piece of that billion. You know, less than 0.1% of a billion is still 10 million or something, right?
Yes.
So go ahead, tell them where they can grab the book, Miguel.
Absolutely. You want to go to thebookpatch.com. That's D-C-H-E, bookpatch, P-A-T-C-H, thebookpatch.com. And type this in. Type my name in, Miguel Thornton. Or you can type in the book title.
Mm-hmm. Success, how to obtain it, how to keep it, how to enjoy it, how to keep it.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can also hit me up and buy the book.
Yeah.
You know, inbox me. There's a way to, you know, there's ways to contact me, and I will get the book for you. And
I prefer go directly to the source, get your autographed copy. Because on all these other platforms, it's good that they allow us to be exposed on that platform, but they take a cut, right? So just get it straight from the source. And that way you're actually putting a little bit more money in the brother's pocket when you do it that way versus going to the book patch. But it's a good platform to be on because it gives you exposure. So I appreciate the candor, man. Your story is amazing and what you want to do. So if you are into advocacy, right, or want to get into advocacy and you don't know where to start, brother laid out some really cool organizations and some things that they've got going so you can see where his heart is. We didn't even get into Grace, which is the homelessness organization that you're involved with there. So we'll have to have you back on, brother, so we just talk about the advocacy part and things that we can do as a people, because sometimes we are willing to fight, but we don't know how to fight. So you have to get with people on the grass and grassroots movements like that who actually know how to fight, and they just need soldiers to help them, y'all. They just need soldiers to help them. So if you want to fight, you don't know how to fight, then you can get with Brother Miguel and some of these organizations, and they will teach you exactly how to fight. So
and I want to say this real quick too, Hcortez, while I have the ear of your listeners, man. We have the respect of the elders behind us. You know, we're not fly by night. The respect of the elders behind us. They believe in us. They're supporting us, and we're going to continue to do what we have to do for the people, to empower our people on every level.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, my friends. So I appreciate you for hopping on with us. And like I said, man, we'll get you back, man, for a whole hour, man, so we can really dive deep into some of the things that you got going on, man, because I'm amazed at what you guys are doing. You know, New Orleans is one of those cities that you hear about all the time, and all they talk about is the murder rate and the crime and all that kind of stuff, man. But there's some gems in New Orleans that we need to know more about, and we'll have you on so you can talk about some of that stuff as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. This was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, sir.
That is my man, Miguel Thornton, author of Success, How to Obtain It, How to Keep It, and how to enjoy it, and how to keep it. So we're going to move right along with the show, man. You know, reach out to Miguel, grab a copy of the book, but also find out how you can help some of those organizations. If you go and buy a T-shirt from the organization, that, of course, brings revenue to the organization so they can keep going with the mission. So go to drkmovement.org or youMustLearn.com, and that's you with the letter U, mustlearn.com. So I told you guys we were going to bring the fire. Bring the fire. And I've got another young man, young brother, man, I think you guys are going to be equally as impressed with. You know, and he is author of the book, Live Your Best Life, Answer the Call. Give me a thumbs up if you guys agree that Miguel has answered the call on his life to be an advocate, to fight for our people in various capacities. So we're going to get this brother's take on actually what it means for him when he says answer the call. So it gives me a tremendous amount of pleasure. Another good brother, man, friend of mine. So I want to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Cori Briggs. Top of the morning to you, brother. How goes it?
What's going on, Cortez? What you know good, my brother? Bless risings.
I know that all is good, and now that I'm in your company, it's gotten even better, my friend.
Nah, man, it's all about the company you keep. So I'm trying to keep up with you, man.
All right, good deal. So look, I know there's a lot of people watching who rock with us and building wealth and changing lives financially. But for those who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and where the inspiration for Live Your Best Life came from.
Definitely, man. My name is Cori Briggs, native Washingtonian, actually born and raised in District Heights, Maryland, right outside of the nation's capital. A graduate of Florida A&M University. So what's up with all the rattlers out there? And, honestly, man, for about 4 months out of school, Cortez, I jumped right into corporate America. So for the last 15 years, it's been about corporate America as well as entrepreneurship. But when you ask about starting to really make that transition to really answer the call, it really started as about being a parent, and I found myself telling my daughter to live her best life, right? And telling my daughter she could be all and everything it is that she wants to be. But yet I had to take a look in the mirror and realize there were some things I was leaving on the table.
Right.
And so what it was I was leaving on the table is I wasn't maximizing the gift, that I feel like the Creator gives all of us as He puts something special in each of us. And I just truly wasn't maximizing mine. And so I realized that it was time that we had to take it up a notch and truly live the best life we could and answer the call. And more than anything, for me, Cortez, I said, if for no other reason, I set a certain example for my daughter. One, so she knows she's got to take action. And two, when she starts to measure men as she grows older and is to be someone's wife and a mother one day, that I set the bar as high as I could, man.
Yeah. And that's extremely important, man. I was trying like heck to get me a daughter. See, that's how I ended up with 5 kids, man, because I kept trying to get me a daughter, man. I got 5 boys, man. But that's critically important that a young lady sees an example of a quality man all the time. So that's right. I have no doubt in my mind, man, that you're not going to be able to step to this young lady sideways, because that is, like you said, that's the bar high, man. So talk a little bit about that, man. When you looked at yourself in the mirror and your daughter came into the picture and you started to say, you know what, I can be better, right? Where were you at that point? And you just said, you know what, I'm doing some stuff. Because what we tend to do, Cori, is we tend to compare ourselves to other people around us. And when other people around us are below average, and then we are just living average, we look real good. But you somehow looked at yourself in the mirror and said, wait a minute, there's even more that I can tap into. So where were you, and what was that conversation like that you had with yourself to propel yourself to the next level?
I mean, to be very transparent, because I know if somebody watching that either feels this way right now or has felt that way, I just didn't know really what my own value was. And I think sometimes when we start to compare our, chapter 1 or 2 to somebody else's 7 or 8, we just don't know our own value at times. And, I learned recently, especially, with us being entrepreneurs, a lot of times we look at business as a race, and it's not. Business is about finishing, and everybody's finish is going to be different, and being able to embrace that. But I can definitely say, for me personally, I just didn't know my value, and it was oftentimes that I would really ask the Most High, like, it's the reason you put me on this earth, but why is it? And I think a lot of times we either give too much credibility to the people that we interact with, or we don't give enough, and certain people are put in our lives to show us certain things about ourselves. We just got to be prepared and willing to listen. I oftentimes say that sometimes the Creator toss pebbles to get you to pay attention, but when you aren't listening, He'll drop a boulder on you. So I think it was just a combination of those things, Cortez. I think it just, came about with growth, getting to a certain age where I looked at myself in the mirror and just said, there's more out of life that I expected of myself. Cori, what is it that you aren't doing? What is it that you haven't done yet that you still can do? And you know how it is, man. We put that clock of mother time on ourselves, and that countdown starts to come. And really, for me, it was something else has to be done. I know there's more to life than just as I'm living it. And it took me several interactions of dealing and interacting with someone for them to say, you know what, you did this to me in my life because you shared, you know, these principles with me, or because you taught me this, I was able to get this out of life. Mm-hmm. And when you can take a step back and know that you're only simply sharing with a person your experiences, and that's extremely profound. You know, it even alludes to a conversation you and I just had the other day about you never know what you know that someone else needs to know, or could be of benefit to truly change their life. Yeah,
that's powerful, man. And I think, you know, sometimes we exist in life and we don't live life. And it's in the living of life that you really start blessing other people, right? Because when you're living and people see your light shine, that's huge, man. My girl Nikisha Smith says all the time, man, the sun don't care who it blinds when it shines. And sometimes we will dim our light for the sake of not offending someone else, right? And while we're dimming our light to keep from offending one person, other people need to see our light at full strength in order to grow. So we're dimming our light to save one person, but we're killing the 10 that need to see the fullness of our life, right? So that's powerful, man. So talk a little bit about, I know you're serious when it comes to personal growth and self-development. And I want people to know, man, that's life changing. And people don't get it.
Right.
It's important to make the time and make the investment into continually growing personally and developing yourself. Talk about the role that personal growth and self-development has played in your life, and not only as an entrepreneur, because some people think that you only read those kinds of books, you only go to those kinds of seminars for business. Right. But then talk about how it has shaped and molded you as a father, husband, and as a person in general. So how it played a part in your whole life, not just business.
I mean, what good are you to anyone else if you aren't good to yourself?
Wow.
You know, so when you start talking about making self-investment, you know, we talk a lot of time about seed time versus harvest time. You can't expect a harvest to be produced from yourself if you aren't putting seeds in yourself.
Right.
And so, you know, that personal development piece is huge, you know, because life is growth and development. You know, it's just whether or not people take the time to step back and look at it. You know, one of my favorite quotes by Wayne Dyer is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Yeah. And so, you know, as we go through life, or better yet, should I say, grow through life, are we really taking heed to the lessons that we're learning? Because life in itself is about personal development and growth. But yet, too many times, it's the woe is me, or we take upon the things that come at us in life as, you know, this is going to tear me down, it's going to stop me, when in actuality, oftentimes it's there to make you stronger or to make you better, because there's a lesson to be learned in it. Mm-hmm. And so when you start talking about personal growth and development, you know, success leaves clues, Cortez. I mean, if you look at some of the most successful people in this world, they all will tell you it starts with their AM ritual. You know, regardless of what their spiritual beliefs are, they start the day a certain way. And normally that first 30 minutes to an hour, and sometimes 2 hours, depending upon who the individual is, it's all about them. So truthfully, you know, if you aren't good to yourself, what good are you to the rest of the world? And, you know, growth has to be ongoing. One of my mentors tells me all the time, you got to stay green. You know, when you look at things that carry life and carry fullness, they stay green. Because the moment that you stop staying green and you stop growing, you know, you die and you start in a recession and go the opposite direction. And so the only way we can grow is through personal development.
Yeah. And then what is the impact that your family benefits from that? Because I know a lot of people will say, you know, their only motivation to do that is for business purposes. I want to make more money. I want to get more clients. I want to attract more people. I want to build my team, my organization. but talk about it from the from who Cori is today because of personal growth and self-development to who you were 5 years ago, that your family would recognize that difference. Because I think if that becomes the motive, then more people get into personal growth and self-development, and then it will spill over into business.
Man, as I go, they go. That's how I feel about it. You know, and not to shift the conversation, but you know, I would like to say we have somewhat of a traditional household, but I can say when I rise early, my wife and my daughter rise early. You know, when I'm extremely focused and disciplined about taking care of certain things that are needed and necessary to be a part of this family, my wife and my daughter are focused about what it is needed and necessary for us as a family. And that's why I say, as I go, we go. You know, right. I am the head of my house, and it's imperative that, you know, I set a certain example because, I mean, that's just what time it is. And it's a trickle down effect, man, you know, and then outside of the home, you know, the individuals that you interact with, then it's not just about you, it's about your whole family, right? It's about the energy that your whole family brings in terms of making an impact on others.
Yeah, and I think we missed that, man. And then when you were talking about staying green to me, it made me think about staying green as I'm in constant learn mode, right? I did a show a little while back on these 3 words, right? And I'm not talking about I love you. I'm talking about these 3 words will kill you, literally. And that is, I already know, right? So many people, you can't tell them nothing because they already know every doggone thing. So staying humble and staying hungry at the same time, because I know that that's something that I try to keep myself in that place where even if someone is in the same field as me, I feel that there's still something that I can know or learn. I can see something from a different perspective. So I never try to approach anything with the I already know mentality.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, I can say even being in corporate America, the time that I have, you know, a lot of times I'll interact with someone on my team and it's always what they have to learn from me or what I can show them. And I make it very clear. It's something to be learned from everybody. And that's one thing that I've always approached, you know, with my work is that I'm looking to learn just from you as you are from me. And I feel like that's the only way to truly create a successful team. It has to be a mutual exchange, right? Just like I know I got a lot to learn from Hcortez because it's only one. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's only one Hcortez. So even if you and I, you know, are in the same, business or the same arena, or, you know, we deal or cater with the same subject, because there's only one of you, your perspective is going to definitely be different than mine. You know, you're going to see things through a different lens. So there's always, you know, something to be learned and something to be gained. But, you know, too many times, especially a lot of people that look like you and I, it's already giving stock to what's already been learned. And, you know, I think because people are afraid to change, you know, or people are afraid of growth. You know, you alluded to it when you talked about allowing the light to shine. You know, even in the book, I talk about the quote, our deepest fear. You know, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. Right. And a lot of, I mean, I just caught a chill saying that. A lot of times we shy away from growing because of what it is to step out there. So we don't want to keep growing because, you know what I realized, Hcortez, as you start to grow, then the more you get held accountable. And not just by those who you interact with, but also by the universe, man, because when you know better, you're supposed to do better. Exactly. But a lot of times we shy away from that because we don't want that responsibility. Yeah.
And that's a tough pill for people to swallow. That is one of the things that I teach my sons all the time. They will tell you that's one of our favorite quotes. The number one thing a man has to be is responsible. Period. I mean, if you are responsible, everything else takes care of itself, right? That's right. You're responsible for your actions, but more importantly, you're also responsible for the words that come out of your mouth and how you treat others. So that's powerful that you said that. But you were here when you launched the book, and we missed each other because I was in Iowa. Right. Talk about that experience, man. So you went through the process of getting the material down, getting it out, editing, reading. Now I'll take that out. Now I'll put this in, and now that whole process, and then finally the book launches. Man, how does that feel?
Man, it's still surreal, man. I think for me, the most impactful thing to the launch is whose life is this going to change?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Whose life is this going to impact? And don't get me wrong, man. You know, celebrating the launch, it was extremely fun. It still continues to be fun. But I can say for me, where I'm processing, it's like, okay, what's next? Right? We just talked about it, Cortez. I'm thinking like, okay, what's the next responsibility? You know, what's the next step in being accountable? Because, you know, my goal is to truly change lives as a transformational speaker and coach, and show people that, you know, things can be done differently, and help people truly bring the best out of them. You know, one thing that I will share that I think really, really, you know, made an impact on me going through the launch was I had a gentleman reach out to me on Facebook, and he said, you know, I've been seeing you, I've been watching you, and I'm ready to answer the call. I'm ready to live my best life, and I'm ready to answer the call. So for me, that's what the launch was really. That brother reached out to me. You know, my thought then was, okay, what's next, right? What's to come next with this gentleman reaching out? Because sometimes people won't tell you, people won't say, you know. And I also understand this too as well, because the thing that I really value about this project was it was co-authored. So it might not be my story that changed somebody's life. Maybe it's somebody else's story that changes someone's life. Because sometimes people just won't say, or people hesitate to say, you know. So the launch in itself was powerful because, one, yeah, definitely, we got to party, we got to celebrate, we got to have some fun. But I'm more and more every day just thinking like, okay, who else life is to be changed? Who else can I help? You know, because the price we pay for living is service, man. Yeah,
exactly, man. And you're doing a wonderful job at serving, man. That is powerful in itself, man. So launching the book has gone successfully. And then I want to say something about the co-authorship, because I think that is a powerful piece. And I love that structure, because somebody may pick up the book because of you and read somebody else's story, and that's the story that changed their life. And that could happen vice versa as well. So let's transition a little bit into entrepreneurship, man, because for a lot of people, they struggle with the idea of entrepreneurship, especially those who are working full-time jobs and things of that nature. And you are, my friend, a full-time employee and a full-time entrepreneur, right?
Right.
So talk about burning the candle at both ends, man. How important is entrepreneurship to you at this point in your life, and what made you say, you know what, I'm going all in with building for myself?
I mean, it goes back to where we started this conversation. You know, it's a gift placed inside of all of us. There's no way you can truly, and this is my personal opinion, there's no way you can truly maximize your gift operating in the confines of where someone else wants to control your gift. You know, when I was listening to you talk to Miguel earlier, you know, and making a comment about entrepreneurship and truly being able to step into an arena where your light can truly shine, because there's nobody to place a dimmer on it but you.
Exactly.
You know? So when you make that transition into entrepreneurship, nobody can regulate the number of watts that comes out of your light but you and yourself. And so it became even more important to me because, man, let's look at the world in which we live in, man. You know, it's a transition, and there's a shift going on. So it's imperative, and I'm going to bring it back to, again, where I started this conversation. I got a young lady looking at me as she gets ready to transition into, you know, the next steps and stages in her life. What is happening for the generation coming behind us is bananas, Cortez. It's bananas, to say the least. And so I could show her better than I could tell her. And that's my number one thing. I said, I don't care what happens. Yeah, who doesn't want to be successful? Everybody wants to be successful. But for me, I will measure success if my daughter one-ups me. I'll measure my success based on the mentality in which she has. And if nothing else, if my actions don't do anything else but shape her in a way that when things come out of my mouth, they have more validity because she sees me doing it and not just saying it, then I won.
Yeah, that's powerful, man, because I tell people all the time, if you think about it, as parents, we get cliche-ish with the children, right? That meaning we are quick to tell the children, you can live your dreams. You can have what you want. You can be whoever you want.
There you go.
At the time, they see you come home complaining about a job you don't like.
There you go.
You come home talking about a business you want to start or talking about some dreams or whatever. And most kids ain't bold enough to say, Dad, you tell me all the time I can be what I want to be. Why you ain't being what you want to be? Or Mom, you said that I can have my own business. Why don't you got your own business? You always complaining about this job.
Right.
So it's good that you're living and modeling that example. Let me say
this real quick, Cortez, just about that. Man, one time I was getting ready to do a presentation and I was getting ready, you know, my daughter ran in the room, you know, I'm getting the bow tie straight or whatever. And she says, man, I'm just so happy. I'm like, what's up? Well, I mean, why is it that you're so happy? And her response to me is because we are doing this. It didn't matter what I was doing. It's just the fact that something was being done. She was a part of it. And truthfully, it wasn't the norm, you know? And for me, that was huge. Like it just poured gas on the fire. Like we got to keep going. And I say this to any parent watching, you know, a lot of us grew up hearing, you know, just do as I say. That's all you need to do. Do as I say and not as I do. But I'm going to challenge any parent watching. It's not so much about what you say. It's what you do with your children. Not just what you do, but what you do with your children. Yeah. Because most of the times, man, when I can be at an event, when I can be doing a presentation, I'm going to make sure she's right there front and center. So she's a part of, not just something that we talked about. She's involved in it too.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's big, man, because they what you have to get about children. How old is your daughter?
14.
So what you have to get about children and coming from a brother who's got 5 of them crumb snatchers and actually raised 2 others, right? I've got a nephew and a cousin that I raised and put through high school, you know, because they just needed a place to stay.
That's right.
No. So what you got to get as parents is that kids pick up far more than they're taught. See, they pick up more than they're taught. See, I didn't have to sit down with my kids when they were young and teach them every word in the English language. But because they are immersed in the culture where the English language is spoken, they picked up more words than I actually physically taught them. So what is the environment that you've created, that you placed your kids in? What are they picking up from that environment when you're away and you're not able to physically teach them? So that's powerful that you keep her with you at your side and she can see you demonstrate what you say and make her feel a part of it. That is critically important. So before we go any further, tell everybody where they can get the book real quick so that they know where to go to get that done.
Matter of fact, anybody that's watching, I want you to hit me up via Facebook Messenger. It's Cori, C-O-R-I-G, Briggs. The website is definitely coming. I could give you website. I could give you, you know, email and all that. Because I want to connect, you know. I want to be able to connect maybe somebody watching today that, you know, Cortez and I be able to uplift in a different way. So please, you know, inbox me. I would love to connect with you. Send it straight to your home. As Cortez said, I'll be able to, you know, autograph it because we are building and some big things are coming. And I would love to just be able to connect with any of you all that way. All
right, good deal. So for the book, just inbox Cori C. Briggs, C-O-R-I, not Y. I made that mistake looking for you at one point. It's like C-O-R-I, C. Briggs. So now let's continue with the entrepreneurial conversation, man. Why do you think so many people fear entrepreneurship?
Because it's unknown, man. It's unknown. You know, it's not knowing what's going to happen next. I'm always about operating in transparency. I can tell you right now, I don't know a lot of what's going to happen next, but I know I'm going to keep moving forward. You know, I look at when I first started really getting started in the entrepreneurial space, my dad used to say, man, I'm just so glad you're taking action. And it it just didn't process to me like, why does he keep saying that? Like, oh, I'm so glad you taking action. You on this conference call and I heard you do this. I'm just glad you taking action. And one day it finally resonated with me that action stands for the activities constructing the infinite opportunities now.
Wow.
The activities constructing the infinite opportunities now. Most people fear entrepreneurship because they're afraid to take action, Cortez. Yeah. Most people fear entrepreneurship because it's something different. There's nobody there to tell you what to do. There's nobody there to lay it all out for you and say, okay, well, after you finish doing 1, 2, 3, then do 4, 5, and 6. There's nobody to tell you that if 4, 5, and 6 don't look right, you might have to go to 7, 8, 9, and 10, you know, right, as far as the steps in the process. And because of that unknown, just like anything else, man, we all fear that unknown, but you got to jump out there and take action. And most people just are afraid to do that, or they don't know brothers like yourself that are going to encourage them and help them in the process to let them know that it's okay.
Right. Yeah. And I talk about people getting outside the comfort zone, man. There's a tremendous amount of safety. There's a tremendous amount of security inside the comfort zone, but nothing ever grows there.
Nothing
ever grows there. Nothing. So, and then as you alluded to earlier, if you're not growing, you're dying. There's only 2 states of being. There's nothing in between. You're either growing or you're dying. There is no between. Yeah. So I think for me, entrepreneurship has really, really caused me to live, you know, and whenever I'm submerged in that, you know, I've gone through the states where I was living with my own business, then I was dying, working for somebody else and letting my fruit die on the vine, and then getting back fully immersed. Now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. And I think just the life force that I have now is so much more vibrant. 2 things, because it is scary, because if I don't work, we don't eat. If I don't make some moves, I don't make some connections, we don't eat, bills don't get paid. So that's scary, but also the sense of pride that I feel when I do accomplish those things.
That's right.
Make those connections. I do make something happen. I do touch some lives. I do serve some other people. That is critically important. So for you as an entrepreneur, was it something that you started early in life, or was it later in life? Where did your entrepreneurial journey start?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to this. I think it was something that was always there. And inside, I think a lot of us as children, we have big dreams, but then life happens, right? Mm-hmm. And we stop dreaming, or we put those dreams on the back burner, or we start to feel like, well, this is more of the reality of it and what it looks like. And I mean, I'm not afraid to say it, Cortez. I think I put my entrepreneurial dreams and piece of myself in a box because I started being conditioned. You know, we all are taught to go to school, get good grades so we can go to a good college, and then go to college and get good grades so you can get a great job. And man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I subscribe to the 40-40-40 lifestyle, you know, and I felt like, you know what, well, I'm gonna be one of the best at it. You know, nobody will do this. Nobody will do this better than me.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It forced me to use my light but dim my light at the same time. And I don't think I really realized that until I had, you know, matriculated to a certain point and started to mature myself in some different ways to realize that, you know, having a job is great. It's just we got to know why we're there, and that there's a big difference. And people have to really understand that if that's the route that you want to go, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you just need to know why you're there and understand how you can leverage that.
Right.
But I can definitely say for me that as I started to transition and get some additional seasons in life and having some more experience, I still went back to those original dreams and say, hey, you know what? These dreams haven't gone anywhere. You know, they haven't gone away. But the only way to truly have those dreams come to fruition, something's got to be done about it. Some action's got to be taken, you know? And so, like I said, man, transparently, because I want to be real about it, because I know I'm not the only one. You know, that light got dimmed. I allowed something else that seemed to be easier, right? To lure me away and kind of put my dreams on the back burner. But when you do that, they stay on the back burner. And then they fall off the stove, and then they no longer cooking, right? So it was just imperative to me, man, that I live my best life. Like, I'm happier going through the process, you know, knowing that every day we move a little bit closer. Every day we move a little bit forward towards what the ultimate goal is. And that's why I said, you know, we got to stop looking at entrepreneurship and business as a race. Stop competing with other people around you, because it's going to continue to distract you from your journey.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Business is about finishing. And I'm enjoying going through that process, man.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And you said something very key. And that almost happened to me, because what you said was that you subscribed to that plan and then said you're going to be the best at it, right? And here's what we do. We look at ourselves as the problem a lot of times and never look at the system as the problem, right? So you said, okay, school, degree, corporate, okay, now I'm just going to keep climbing that ladder and doing my thing. And then, you know, our parents said, okay, they were able to get a good job out of high school, you know, maybe at Ford, GM, some of these good long-standing companies, and they were able to help us. And say, in order for my generations, they need to get a college degree. So I want to make sure I put them through college. They did that. And then the kids got out of college, they lived a life and then didn't live too much greater than the parents did. Now the parents are saying, this generation saying, okay, kids got to go to college and get a master's degree, get a good job. So now all of that is taking place and everybody's blaming themselves. I didn't live the way I want to live because I wasn't educated enough. So I'm gonna make sure my kids get the master's degree. And then maybe that's the key to them really living and building wealth and all that kind of stuff. When in actuality, we should have been looking at the system itself and said, wait a minute, 5 generations have gone through this system. And all 5 generations live at the same level of poverty or at the same level of middle class. Nobody's elevating. So maybe the system is broken and it's not us to the degree that we work hard and all that kind of stuff. Because I will tell you, when I was making my transition out of corporate America, it was right when I started thinking seriously about becoming a full-time entrepreneur that I started getting promotions on the job. And I started other doors starting to open to keep, you know, just when I tried to get out, they tried to pull me back.
And you know why that is? Because I was just getting ready to say this. When you become a better entrepreneur, it makes you a better businessman. So already the way your thoughts are acting, the way you interact in certain endorphins and certain things are firing, even when you in that environment, other things start clicking because you can start to operate better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, man. And people looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, you just got promoted and now you walking away. I was like, yeah, I know what that promotion was about. That promotion was to get me to sell my dreams yet again. And I'm not going for it this time because
no, that's fine.
You think about what if the salary on your job is hush money to keep you from fulfilling your dream. And that's kind of what I was at that place. I was like, yeah, this promotion, that's hush money because I'm about to do something great. Yeah. And one thing as a youth basketball coach, I tell my kids all the time, and I hope they get it, man. Good is the enemy of great, man. Good is the enemy of great. Sometimes we get to a place where we're good, and you hear people all the time, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, you're good, but you could be great.
You could be great. Yeah, you could be amazing.
Good, you could be excellent. You're good, you could be amazing. So I don't know if you guys know or heard or picked up on, Cori is a life transformation coach. If you need some life transformation coaching, if you are in a place in your life spiritually, emotionally, financially, socially, maybe you just need to be around with a different crowd, man, right? Hit Cori in his inbox, man. I'm telling you, he's got some amazing things going on. I know some of the things that he's into as far as helping people with inspiration and not motivation, because you have to be inspired to move, right? So he can inspire. There's some things that he can do, coach you on financially, spiritually, emotionally. So if you need that in your life, definitely hit Cori in his inbox, man. Any last words, man? Anything you want to say that we didn't touch on? The floor is yours for the next 3 or 4 minutes, bro.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I'm humbled by this whole experience, and this is what, to me, truly building in our community is all about. When you start talking about truly empowering our people, I look at Cortez, you jumping out there to say, you know what, I'm gonna share my platform for a whole week. Too many times we feel like we the only ones that can eat, and as long as we eating, then I'm good. Look, it's so much on the plate. Not only that, we all got a different energy signature. I understand it, and I realize this, that even as a speaker, some people gonna close their ears to me when I start to speak, but somebody else might speak, and it might be the voice that you need to hear to truly change your life.
Yes, yes.
Man, I got so much respect for you doing this week and just highlighting other individuals, man. So kudos to you, Cortez. Man, continue to keep going, brother. Continue to keep doing what you're doing. Because, look, we have to realize collectively we can do a lot more than walking out here trying to fight a solo fight. You know, somebody has to have your back. And guess what? It is okay to be able to live and grow and build as a team. Truthfully, that's the only way you're going to really be able to actualize your dreams and to truly live your best life and answer your call. But I'm going to charge and challenge everybody watching. Something special was put into you, whether you realize it or not. Something special was put into you. It wasn't given to me. It wasn't given to Cortez. It wasn't given to Miguel. It was given to you. And I'm just going to challenge you to do something with it. I guarantee you, if you do something with that was put in you, you'll be a whole lot happier, living your best life and on your way to answering your call. And if you will, I will, we will. Let's build
together. And one thing I want to say about that, man, I appreciate the sentiment. What I had to come to realize, man, is that if I take the light from my candle and light another candle, that don't take away from my fire. At all. So that's where we are with this thing, man. I love you, brother. I appreciate you.
Love you too, man.
No, man. And my girl, Lady Ray J, says you got to come do her show. She does a radio show here that's local in the St. Louis area. So I'll put you in touch with Lady Ray J. But yeah, let's build, man, and we'll keep this up, man. So keep us abreast to everything that you got going on, man. Next time you're in St. Louis, man, if I have to cancel a whole basketball tournament, brother, stick around, man. So
we're gonna make it happen.
Man. So again, if you need life's transformation, if you're not where you want to be financially, if you're not where you want to be mentally, emotionally, if you need somebody to help coach you through some things, get in the brother's inbox. If you want a copy of the book, an autographed copy of the book, get in the brother's inbox, man. Live your best life. Answer the call, man. And let me just say this as we wind down. I am a brother who, for the greater portion of my life, spent a large percentage of the time trying to convince the world that I really was who I was pretending to be.
Wow.
For a large percentage of my life, I didn't come to fall in love completely head over heels with the man that I am until here very recently, right? I was playing the pretend game because I refused to answer the call. Guys, my life didn't change until I answered that call and became who I was created to be. So I believe each and every one of you have that in you. So definitely make sure that you answer the call. Grab the book. Maybe you need to read his story, some stories of some others to kind of help you figure out what that call is and identify it. But other life coaching, Cori has got you. Great brother. Appreciate it, man. Stay on for 1 second as we close down the show. I am H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community. It's been an honor, a privilege. You've been learning from both Cori C. Briggs and Miguel Thornton on things life-related, encouraging you to get success, how to keep it, how to enjoy it, and how to build it, and also how to live your best life. Until I talk to you guys next week, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.